Hi, my name is Skrillex.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Hello, I'm Pete Tong, and
Zel, what are you doing?
I just really want people to listen to this show.
I think they'll figure out that you are none of these people.
I was gonna let you be Annie Mac.
Let's just start the show.
Hello and welcome to Don't Kill the Vibe, the show where we talk about what's new, what's good, and what's not so good in the wide world of dance music and beyond. I'm Zel McCarthy.
And I'm Bain. On today's show, we welcome drag queen and HBIC of the Club Called Rhonda, Phyllis Navidad, as well as journalist and cultural savant Monica Duwe.
Krystal is joining us a little bit later for a look at some great new music, and I guess we'll also discuss Halloween a little bit.
We will, but first...
Okay, the craziest story that I think of this entire political season.
Sure.
I'm so excited to talk about this. Rush Limbaugh, everybody, who you know if you have a relative who's a conservative person, but not just a conservative person, a specific brand of asshole, I think, listens to Rush Limbaugh.
I mean, now we're talking about several of my family members, but yeah.
Well, I mean... several of mine, too. And if they're listening to this show and Rush, that's an interesting cross-section.
Sure. Okay, yes. But tell them what happened.
So Rush declared on air that his new favorite show, or new favorite music, was from Caribou.
Yes.
It's not even, it's new. It Can't Do Without You. The song is a couple years old.
And then he got swiftly bitch-slapped by none other than...
Dan Snaith. Of Caribou.
Who is Caribou. Who said,
basically, fuck off.
Basically, fuck off. It said, either stop using my music or
said,
stop being a bigot.
Yeah, he literally said, "Dear Rush Limbaugh, fuck off. Please either stop." Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think that Rush has actually used the song on the show. He stated his...
He did. They played it as bumper music.
No, really?
Yeah.
Don't you have to get, like, rights?
I don't know. I think it falls under fair use. They have a bigger budget than we do, so I think they can just pay for that shit.
Yeah. Well.
Do you want this? The crazy thing is how he found out about it.
How Dan Snaith found out about it?
No. How Rush Limbaugh found out about Caribou.
Right. Okay.
So he said, and I'm quoting him now. I was watching one of my formerly enjoyed TV shows, How to Get Away with Murder, and I don't know why it's formerly enjoyed. I guess because. I don't know how Rush could have ever been tricked into watching the show in the first place. It stars Viola Davis. It's a multi-gendered, multi-racial cast. There's really it doesn't seem like it would appeal to like the red meat white man conservative that Rush is, but apparently he was watching it, but it's no longer a show he enjoys. And but it was only the week's episode, the episode from the week before, and he says, I forget which, and then he describes the scene where the song was played. He said, 2 lesbians are sitting in the bar. That was the scene. They're getting all touchy-feely, and this techno music started with the captioning, had the lyrics, because I guess Rush Limbaugh watches captioning on his TV, because he doesn't listen, who knows. And the lyrics said, Can't Do Without You. I said, I've never heard this, so I Shazammed it. What the hell was this? There was dialogue, they were talking, I could just hear the bass rhythm, which is what hooked me. So I Shazammed it, and they told me it was I Can't Do Without You by Caribou.
He actually did like a nice kind of tidy job of describing the track.
He actually did.
For someone that probably doesn't like have a complete grasp on that lexicon.
He went on to say there's a single and an extended mix, which is 6 minutes. The extended mix is this one. Like, you have Rush Limbaugh talking about an extended mix.
Okay, but then, tell him what happened with the numbers of the track.
Okay, so the official video for this track, Can't Do Without You, which came out like a year and a half ago, has 600,000 plays. Now, after Rush, the version that he posted, which is the audio only, because he linked to the track on YouTube.
Right.
It's audio only. 7 million plays.
Right. So he got the Rush bump.
The Rush bump. The Rush bump hath been given to... And if you look in the comments, it's like, Rush sent me. I'm here because of Rush.
Right. Okay. So I'm kind of like of two minds about this, because I agree with Dan Snaith that I would not want Rush Limbaugh or a person like him touching my music or like using my music to promote himself.
Totally.
But as an artist, you also don't know where your music is going to go and who it's going to get to. And I feel like if I were in that position, I would want it to reach people who would never necessarily hear it otherwise.
I think it might be one of those things where, as a person, Dan Snaith has his political beliefs. They are not aligned with Rush's.
Right.
And so he felt compelled to say what he said. Fuck off.
Right. He made it very clear.
But 7 million plays on your track. I mean, you're cashing a YouTube check on that. I mean, that's significant.
Right. Right. And, like, you're getting a lot of people to hear your music that would have never heard your music before.
Yeah.
Like, they're not playing Caribou on AM radio in the Midwest. I know because I just came from there.
Yeah, you were just in the Midwest and your hometown of Green Bay.
That's right. That's right. I was there last week.
And what do people listen to in Green Bay?
You know, it's so funny because I brought my boyfriend with me, and he's not from the Midwest. And so he could never really understand why I had such like a deep passion and deep knowledge for classic rock. And then we got to Wisconsin and he's like, oh, it's because it's the only thing that they play.
Is it really, that's it?
And I never really like saw it from his perspective so deeply, but that's basically true. Like you can hear Bon Jovi, you can hear Boston, you hear a lot of like country music, obviously, but Green Bay radio, God bless it, because it's what gave me my musical education, but it's very much stuck in 1988.
Oh, wow.
Minus, like, Kiss FM. And then you
Okay.
get, like, DJ Snake.
So you have, like, your choice between, like, DJ Snake, Taylor Swift, Rihanna on your top 40.
Right.
And then you have, like, classic rock.
Then you have loads of classic rock on, like, 6 stations. Green Bay briefly had a hip-hop station. And I remember, because it used to be the station, remember that show, Delilah?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, she's still on the air.
No, I know.
Shout out Delilah.
I know. She's amazing, and I had like a lot of special moments with her program. But
For anyone who doesn't know, Delilah she hosts a call-in radio show late at night, and people call in from all across the country to give dedications of a song to somebody.
Right, and sometimes they just like tell their story,
Yeah.
you know, of like I've just had a child, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then Delilah will lovingly select the song that is right for your particular scenario, and it's usually like something by Boys to Men or
Wait,
like,
but you're choosing like the most positive kind of Delilah caller.
well, sometimes they're really sad.
Often they're like, James has been a trucker for the last 15 years. He misses his wife, Mary Lou, but he's sorry he cheated on her.
Right.
James wants Mary Lou to know that he still loves her.
Well, the thing I love about Delilah is that you can call her and like tell her that you basically fucked up. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm James and I've cheated on my wife because I'm a trucker. But she'll always have compassion
Wait,
for you.
Not all truckers
Like,
cheat.
well, no, but like he's on the road, you know, like
I can't help
he's
it.
in a position where he's not with his wife a lot and he cheated on her.
Yeah.
But Delilah will never judge you.
No, she's
you
not.
know?
She does not kill the vibe. She keeps it a judgment-free zone. I mean, I don't think that I'm not getting down or turned to Wind Beneath My Wings on her program, which I feel like is that kind of soft rock.
100%.
Yeah, light pop.
But what I'm saying is, so there was a station that
Yeah.
played like Delilah and Delilah type music.
Uh-huh.
And then one day I turned it on. I was driving out of the high school parking lot and it was Ja Rule.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is a whole new world. But that station did not last in Green Bay.
Holla. That's
and
my Ja Rule.
yeah, they went back to like the Bon Jovi format, which again, I'll say I have absolutely no problem with. But
So now because of Rush, some people are getting exposed to Caribou that weren't before.
exactly. So I think, well, like I said, totally get Dan Snaith being pissed off. It's also benefiting him.
Can I also tell you what I think the saddest twist of this is?
What?
Rush is being blasted for being a Caribou fan, but the week before, Barack and Michelle Obama released their Spotify workout playlists, and they're total like mom and dad playlists. Like, let's not, like, we can't impose a lot of coolness on either one of them. They listen to the things that's like, oh, like, that's cool. I heard that on the radio once. It's a random mix, but on President Obama's playlist was Iconopop Emergency, and that's not cool. I mean, no shade to Iconopop, but like that's like a random. I think that's even like an album cut. And so here you have Rush Limbaugh listening to Caribou, and our president, who we think is so cool, is
Well, do you think the president is really picking out those playlists?
Katie. Who else? What?
I'm just saying, I want to like seed the idea in your field of awareness that it might not be completely Barack affiliated.
Let's move on.
Okay. What do you got? What do you
got? Billboard put out its 40 under 40.
Yeah.
I know we both previously talked about this. We were like,
I mean, it's great for the people that are on the list.
I feel, yeah, and so I feel like these lists just serve to make everyone listening right now, and whether or not you work in the music industry, just know that anytime you see one of these power lists or like the top 25 under 25 or whatever, all those lists do is make everybody who's not on them, who does the same thing as the people who are on them, feel like shit.
Yeah.
There's no like, I mean, yeah, people post, oh, I'm so proud of my friend for making it onto this list. But that's bullshit because you're not really proud of your friend. You just don't want to be seen as the person who's jealous.
Well, everyone likes to be on a list.
Everyone loves to be on a list.
Being listed. I guess there are some lists that you don't want to be on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think being on a negative list.
I'll be on any list.
Yeah.
What you got?
But
Sign me up.
If you want to be on any of these power lists, and frankly, this Billboard one is fine. I mean, I know a number of the people on it. They're great. But if you are on this list, you have been submitted. There's a submission process.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's an important point.
Yeah, it's a PR move.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, pointers to everyone out there. If you want to be on a list, just start tossing your name.
Yeah.
To people. But yeah, I mean, congrats to everybody on the
Congratulations
on the list.
all
Congratulations. We're not jealous at all.
We're not. We didn't even bother to write down any of your names. Sorry to my actual friends who are on the list. Question for you, Katie.
Tell me.
Do you like Thai food?
I love Thai food.
Yeah. So you eat Thai food in Thai restaurants?
I would say that I order Thai food into my house more than I go out to eat it. But yeah, a little both.
Yeah. Well, for anyone who's been inside a Thai restaurant in most places, I've seen this in different continents, there is almost always a photo of the King of Thailand. His name was, it's still his name, King.
Yeah, how are you going to pronounce this? Tell me.
Bhumibol Adulyadej.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Did you Google that? The pronunciation?
I know Thai people. I'm serious.
Even better. Okay.
Yeah.
Props.
Anyway, he passed away earlier in October. He was revered, I think, like no other head of state in the world. And this has like been well known for years. That's why his photo is in Thai restaurants, because it's not just like the president of Thailand. It's not even like Queen Elizabeth. He's beloved by Thai people, and he passed away in early October. Mm-hmm. And one of the, I think, most unexpected consequences of his death, and he was in his 80s. It's not like it was completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was old.
Yeah.
He had a good life, actually. I read his New York Times obituary today. I recommend it, actually. Interesting guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so one of the weird consequences is that the Wonder Fruit Festival has decided to postpone its event in Thailand from December to February. And they issued the statement saying, as we face the passing of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej, we announce the postponement of Wonder Fruit. And, they basically say they're doing this out of deference and out of respect for this period of mourning. But I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Well, tell me why you think that.
Well, Thailand's a country that's been in turmoil for the last few years. There was a coup in 2014.
Right.
They effectively have a military dictatorship. The prime minister is from the military. It's like democracy does not exist. It's always been kind of a weird place in terms of what we consider democracy, because there's no real freedom of speech. If you were to ever...
Right, that's a very strict law there. What is it called?
Yeah.
Like Leeson...
something.
I'm going to find out. But it's a law that you cannot say anything negative about the ruling family.
Yeah.
So, and you will be punished. Like, they take it very seriously.
Like, they'll send you to jail. Even if you're a tourist, not just if you're a Thai citizen. So, so I think that having a music festival in Thailand right now is just not regardless of the situation with the king, it's an unstable part of the world.
And you think that this festival is being pushed purely because of like an underlying political turmoil that's manifesting right now because of this death?
I think that they basically have real legitimate security and logistical concerns.
I think that's probably true. Although other festivals have been delayed and like shows have been canceled. Like Oasis was supposed to play in Bangkok. I think in Bangkok, and they canceled that show. Like the period of mourning is really real. They're going to hand out black ribbons to tourists as they enter the country, and tourists, they are not required to do it, but it's been suggested that you wear all black if you're touring the country in the next like period of time. Even the prostitutes I saw in a news piece are wearing all black.
I feel like that would make it really conducive for a techno event then.
Right, which is why it's really unfortunate this Wonder Food event is being delayed.
Yeah.
Is that are we gonna get that would
we're not in Thailand. We can't go there now.
That would put us in jail in Thailand.
We've just dissed the king. But tell you know a little bit about the Confluence. That's the group that puts on this festival.
Well, no, they're the publicists for the festival.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So they released the statement.
Okay.
I don't know who puts on this festival, but I've heard really good things about it.
Okay.
It sounds like, it's been compared in a review to even like Coachella in terms of the art and the stage design that they have, but I think it would most neatly correlate, at least from what I've heard, to like a Lightning in a Bottle or one of those really cool West Coast festivals. But I've heard good things, and the lineup is always really good and super sort of underground, electronic music heavy, and they have a big focus on sustainability and vegan foods or what have you.
Stay tuned, I guess.
Stay tuned, but I think it'll happen, and I think it's probably, if you're in Thailand, one worth checking out.
Yeah, if you're in Thailand in February, the event is now 16th through the 19th in February. I mean, I guess if you're in Thailand, if you want to go to Thailand, I can't imagine too many people are just passing through. But I do think, based on what I've read, not in the music press, but in the international affairs
different section.
Different section of the paper. It's touchy right there right now. So I think
because this guy was very beloved. Like he was sort of the cultural touchstone, despite all of the sort of disagreements politically in Thailand. They loved this guy. Say his name again. Say his name.
King Bhumibol Adulyadej.
Nice.
And they don't feel that way about his son. His son is seen as kind of a cad.
A cat. I think the quote was like international party boy jet setter.
Yeah. So like a douchey whore.
Not beloved.
Not beloved.
Yeah.
And he's not young either. I mean, his dad is 80. The heir is in his 60s. I don't think.
He should reel it in.
It's time to shut down.
Yeah. Get serious.
The Krunken. But so I guess Thai festivals TBD. FYF Festival.
Yeah, if you guys are listening and are not located in Los Angeles, FYF is a really cool festival that happens here every August.
But now
we learned today that it's moving to July, which, I'm sure my theory is that the reason has something to do with the fact that the area in Los Angeles near the Coliseum where they have the event now is under construction.
Yeah.
And they probably just can't do it with what's going on there, with what they're building or whatever.
So the Coliseum is the big stadium.
The Olympic Stadium from 84?
Oh, well, it was first used in 32.
Damn.
And then again in 84.
Thank you.
And 1928. Sorry.
All right.
You guys, it's legendary. This historic place.
It's huge.
But right now it's hosting both the USC football team and the NFL team that's waiting for its stadium to be built across town.
The Rams.
Yeah.
They're back.
But then they're also building a soccer stadium. That's what's being built there next to the Coliseum.
I didn't know that.
So the FYF is never coming back to that location again.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So they've obviously found another location and they're just not ready to reveal.
Right.
That's what we think?
That's what we think.
That seems feasible.
But I agree with your recommendation. If you are not in LA, people often don't come to LA in July thinking, because it's the summer, it might be too hot, but it doesn't get really hot here until August. July is a great time to visit, and it's a great festival.
It's a great festival. There were a lot of people this year, but maybe if they have indeed found a new location, they can spread everyone out a little bit more.
Because I heard it was crowded.
It was very crowded, but the lineup was really good, so there you go.
Other side of the country, Verboten, which was enraptured in a scandal.
Blaze of glory, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
It went down fast and furious, and just like in an epic fashion.
And sexually too.
Yeah.
There was full on, and we don't want to get into the weeds on that, but
Google it.
Google it. Michelle Luke from Thump had really great coverage about it.
She did. She killed it on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt a little protective. I was like, oh crap, is someone going to put a hit on her? Because that happens in New York with nightclubs. You say the wrong thing, it's like Thailand. You can, except instead of jail, you're going to like nightclub. But she's fine. Eddie Dean, who had owned, was a part owner of
Pacha.
Yeah. He bought the venue, and there have been signs going up around Brooklyn saying that a new club is going in there called Szymanski.
Szymanski? Is it a Polish nightclub?
I don't know. I don't know how Slavic it is or isn't, but...
The important question is, how Slavic is this club? What else have you heard?
That's it. There's just no one really knows anything.
I mean, there was no way that property was going to stay empty for long. That's prime real estate in Williamsburg.
But you think, like, if that part of Williamsburg has also been so developed with condos and, like, rich assholes from Manhattan who are like, oh, Brooklyn's so cool. I wonder how long, I mean, Output's right down the street. I wonder how long either of those clubs are really going to be able to survive. I mean, if anyone's in danger of being shut down because of noise complaints or just general yuppie douchiness, it's them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tweet at us if I'm wrong, but I feel, from what I remember, that Williamsburg kind of came up around at least Output.
Yeah.
Like, that club was there before the neighborhood gentrified, and it got awesome, partially because that club is so great.
Totally.
So, we'll see.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to give a shout out and pay some respects to Pete Burns, the lead singer of Dead or Alive. He passed away earlier this week at the age of 57, and he first broke through. Everyone knows the song Right Round.
Sing a little bit.
I
I did not mean to put you on the spot, but so people know what it is.
You spin me right round, baby, right round. I think that's all we can afford. Probably.
That's good enough. Now everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
But he also... So that was produced by Stock Aitken Waterman, this production trio that took what was called this high NRG sound that was in the underground clubs of London in the 80s, and they wrapped it around these pop tracks, and they produced records for Kylie and Bananarama, Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. It's the same production group.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did they have anything to do with, I'm just going on a limb here, Frankie Goes to Hollywood? Because that Relax song kind of reminds me of Right Round.
I mean, all those groups, same time. Stock Aitken Waterman themselves, I don't believe ever worked with Frankie.
Okay, just putting it out there.
But yeah, but same kind of idea of performativity and like gender fluidity in their performance that Pete Burns is really known for.
Do we know how he passed?
He was 57, so nothing good.
Right.
But he had over 300 cosmetic procedures. He was a kind of plastic surgery addict. It's kind of how he's been known in the UK tabloids recently.
I'm going to say it. He looked amazing. Google this guy. He looked good.
I mean, you get 300 things done to your face. You fucking better.
Well, or you look terrible. You look like that Catwoman.
I could have gone there.
Yeah, but he did it right. He looked really good.
I should read this quote in his honor because I think it was just a great thing to say. He said, "Everyone's in drag of some sorts. I don't give a fuck about gender and drag. I'm not trying to be a girl by putting on a dress. Gender is separated by fabric." Well, that's interesting.
That's nice.
It kind of defines how he was known in the last part of his life.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace.
Speaking of drag, we've Phyllis Navidad here, as well as Monica Duwe. We'll be right back and we'll be talking to them.
Stay tuned.
Back and joining us in the studio, two lovely people who have nothing to do with each other, but I think after tonight, they're going to be lifelong friends. Monica Duwe.
Hi.
And Phyllis Navidad.
Hi.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Phyllis, a lot of people in LA know you because you run the door at a club called Rhonda.
I do, yeah. I've been there now for going on 6 years now. And I just wanted to say thank you for the Pete Burns lead-in. I'm really honored by that.
Yeah?
I saw that. I caught that. That was nice.
Do you feel a connection to Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I have sort of like a 2-degree separation from him, kind of like some of the drag queens that I like learned how to do drag from in San Francisco in like the early 2000s were part of a touring drag show called Tranny Shack, and they went to London, and then one of my drag aunties was in the show in London, and this like crazy character of a person came up to her and was like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," and her being like 2 years sober, sort of like not like she came to perform, but she's not very like into the whole like grab me, touch me club word. Yeah, you know, she was like, "Thank you," and then someone that she was with from London was like, "Do you know who that was?" And she was like, "No, not really." And she's like, "That's Pete Burns," and she like ran back to Pete Burns and was like, "Oh my God, please come backstage." And like Heclina, who is the, you know, creator of Tranny Shack, brought her on stage and like talked to her and stuff, and that was Pete Burns, they said, you know, was that ideology of the gender is just sort of like a social normative thing that doesn't have anything to do with who we are as people. So yeah, I absolutely have a connection to that, totally.
Well, I think it's like what I think a lot of us, especially now in the US, forget is how intricately tied drag and clubbing are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, drag came from the idea of stepping out. And I think even in the 20s, you know, like when men used to dress up underground and do like the ball scene, which really was the beginning of drag, was the ball scenes like in New York in the 20s and stuff. Like there's that movie, The Queen, by Jack Dorshaw, and you can really see like the original like House of LaBeija and Krystal LaBeija. Like you can see them all there in these original balls that they did. And it was the original idea of like stepping out, and then it turned into a party, you know.
Yeah.
And so and London had a huge part to do with it, because there was Lee Bowery, you know, who was part drag queen, part club kid, and people in the States who think of clubs as like Michael Alec and Party Monster and James St. James. Well, like Lee Bowery was doing that 2 years before them.
And I'm assuming did not pour Drano down anyone's throat.
No,
Yeah.
No, he killed himself of his own accord.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, he didn't physically kill himself, but he died of AIDS, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and was known to be really, really outgoing as far as like sex is concerned, and in a time when, you know, there was no meds at all. So he passed away, but far too soon. He's by far my favorite drag artist. So
yeah. Well, I think it's cool that that now it seems like more mainstream music, but mixed music events are making a space for drag. Like Rhonda is hosting Circo Loco this weekend for Halloween, and well, not
tonight,
for Halloween,
actually.
Yeah, for the big Halloween weekend celebration. And Circo Loco is by no means like a drag or a gay event, but there's room for the queens to come through.
Yeah, I mean, Rhonda, it's the coolest part about what we have done since the beginning is like we've coined the term polysexual, so it's bringing everybody together. And like the old, and I turn back to London actually, because like the old clubs of London, like Fabric and those, you know, early Ministry of Sound days, when it was just like the queens would be sort of like holding court, and they would be like early DJs like what's his name? The one that was Fabric, what's his name?
Wait, which?
I'm thinking of he remixed all the Madonna. He's short.
Oh, Junior Vasquez?
No, that's New York. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Anyway,
If you know who we're
it's
talking
gonna
about,
it's
tweet
gonna
us.
come it's gonna come to me like at the most random moment. Anyway, but like, you know, bringing everybody together in a way that's kind of sort of unheard of, you know, and that's what Rhonda has always been about, and it works.
Yeah.
And this show tonight in particular is really bringing together a lot of
Wait, why do you say it
different
like
people.
that? Why do you say it like that?
Well, I mean, because like Circo Loco and Sound Nightclub, you know, which is our collaborators, are traditionally quite straight. And I think that not for a long time, but for like the last couple years, like Rhonda has really just been thought of as a gay club when we don't think of ourselves as particularly gay, and like our or what that term means, you know, like we are polysexual, we are like everybody together, and we are everybody together having fun listening to like roots music, you know.
Yeah. I personally know more straight people who go at this point than gay people.
But when you say that, like even those straight people will say like, "Oh, we're taking me to a gay club," you know, I hear
do.
that a lot, and I'm just like, well, okay.
Well, do you find that perception has maybe grown as Rhonda's become more popular, and you're attracting people who like are coming to clubs for maybe the first time? Like, what are you seeing at the door in terms of people that are now attending these parties?
What I see more at the door is a lot more of a younger crowd, for sure. Like the shift has happened as far as like a whole generation is concerned, which makes me feel real old. But it's good though, you know, like to see like a lot more kids come out and we get to teach them about sort of music that they would never really know. And it teaches me, too, because I'm like, who is playing tonight? Like, I have never heard of that person ever. And, you know, like, we have people like Jacques Renault, and, like, sort of, like, there's a bridge of people that will sort of bring, like, a generation of house music and a generation of, like, what people call EDM now.
Yeah.
And disco, too.
I think, actually, that's, I mean... We talk about how cool it is that a club called Rhonda is so polysexual, and there are more places like that now popping up in clubbing cities. But multi-generational clubs are really hard to do, and I mean, it's not like your grandpa's going to be there, but you know, to have an event where someone who is 21 can have as much fun as someone who is 51, that's pretty cool.
But I mean, having like someone like Nicky Siano, you know, your grandpa might as well be DJing when Nicky Siano is there, but it's good, and there are these classic tracks and music that these 21-year-olds from USC that only know like Skrillex or something are listening to, and then hopefully they're going home and like looking it up, or so that's really cool about it, pretty much.
I also think if you're listening right now, I would recommend checking out whatever you can get that has Nicky Siano's name on it, because I guarantee that if you listen to one of his mixes, even if it's old, someone converted it from a cassette tape to digital for you, I guarantee that you will hear it and not believe how old it is. That shit holds up. It sounds current.
Totally.
Yeah, and he looks amazing, by the way. Like, we had him for Miami for Winter Music Conference, and I was like, damn, I want to look like that one.
How old is he?
Gosh, I mean, he's got to be like in his late 50s,
I was gonna say,
early 60s. Yeah.
It's always such a crapshoot, though, because you can live hard and party hard. And
right. We all know DJs that are like 24 and they look like, you know, 42.
But he was also like, I think he was the tail end of like 54. Like, he wasn't there for like the beginning-ish part of that whole, like he was sort of like on the tail end. If I'm getting my info right, I could be, if someone listens to this, be blasted.
He was young in the Studio 54 days. He was not one of the older ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like Paradise Garage.
Right.
Yeah, Larry Lebon and stuff. Yeah.
Morena, tell us what you've been up to.
I finished off the festival season, I think. I went to Beach Goth, was like the last thing I went to.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Because we are hearing all sorts of things.
Because I feel like I want to be more goth all the time.
And I've never felt that way, but I'm curious about the show.
Like, I don't, like when I go to Rhonda, I just wear black because I'm like, that's my uniform.
Yeah. Really good music, too many people. It kind of had an FYF kind of vibe where it had just like a really amazing lineup. So much diverse
But
music.
the lineup was ridiculous. It was
crazy.
like TLC and Bon Iver and who
Patti
else?
Smith.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Jar and
Right. Like,
Justice.
Why was it called Beach Goth?
You know, I'm not really sure. The Growlers, they started it. They kind of got like a surf rock vibe. I guess it's kind of like a gothy surf rock.
We should tell people that are not in Los Angeles. Beach Goth was a festival that happened this past weekend, and where was it?
It was in Santa Ana, actually. It was at the Observatory, which is like a 2-room club. So it has the big room, which is the Observatory, and then a smaller room, which is the
that's
Constellation.
A cool venue.
Room.
And Santa Ana is in Orange County, so it's a little outside of like
LA. Yeah.
It's a little track.
It was supposed to be at Irvine Lake because it's expanded so much. They've always had it at the Observatory, but this year they wanted to do it at Irvine Lake because they are bigger and they had bigger acts. And then a little birdie told me, I had a friend that works for actual like the Silverado City area, and they had a festival there. I think it was pretty recently.
Day to night.
Yeah,
I heard it was a mess.
Exactly, and it was
Horror
underpromoted.
stories. Yeah.
There wasn't even as many people that they were
a mess
expecting.
because people weren't there, or
No, it was terribly organized.
Really bad. Like stuck in the car for like 4 hours until like 3 a.m.
You can't come back from that.
Yeah,
No.
it sounded like...
There's also no excuse for that.
I think part of the reasoning, it's a dead zone in there. You don't get any reception. And so the communication wasn't good. But whatever. Like any promoter should have like...
Did you do a site survey
a
before
lot of
you booked it?
walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, I had heard about that being a nightmare.
Yeah, so I mean, this is all just hearsay on my part. You know, I'm not really 100% sure of what was said by who, but I'm assuming that because of that. And Irvine Lake had problems with festivals in the past, like As Much as Lightning in a Bottle was an amazing festival and one of the cleaner festivals, I think. Just the amount of people, the land is going to take a toll no matter what at a certain point when there's so many people, even if people are picking up their trash and their cigarette butts. So I think after that, logistically, they were just like, I don't think we want to bother. So then, like, last minute, they changed it back to the Observatory, but they had sold tickets to the space that the Irvine Lake had offered. So it was just too many people crammed. Like,
I feel like this is a goth nightmare.
It really is. It was pretty, like...
Isn't that what goths crave, though?
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a
true.
little bit of a nightmare.
Really?
This sucks. I'm having fun.
Exactly. And then it rained, which was kind of cool, but...
That's so goth.
Yeah, it's so goth.
Oh, that's amazing.
All the
Yeah.
stars aligned for this
Yeah,
festival.
it really did.
Okay. What I really wanted is, how was TLC?
Amazing. I mean,
No.
I thought it was pretty great.
How
It was
can
a walk
you
down
even say
memory
that?
lane.
There's
I
only
mean, Left
one.
Eye.
Yeah.
There's two.
Wait.
There's two.
Oh, there's two?
It was Left Eye. No, well, it
I
was
mean,
not
Left Eye's
Left Eye,
gone.
but it was Chili and
But
T-Boss.
it was just kind
Zel
of one of
almost
those.
slapped me.
I know.
It was one of those
R.I.P.
things.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez. It's been 15 years.
Wow.
That was crazy when she died. That was so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Remember when she burned Andre Rison's house down?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like
That was
such a
also
She
shit.
was
crazy.
kind of my spirit animal.
Yeah, that was a move.
I think I was like 18.
That's let's all say it. I mean, how many times have you wished that you could burn your ex's house down?
Right.
And she did it. She did it for
did
all
it.
of us.
I remember hearing about it, and I was just like, would have done that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course.
She had his football number tattooed on her back. Like, she
Yeah.
loved him.
Yeah.
And he fucked up.
Yeah.
Get your house burned down.
He paid.
Yeah. She
Anyway,
was a
so
badass.
they were good.
I mean, it was one of those things where I wouldn't really ever go see them if they were playing at some
You wouldn't
place.
go chasing that waterfall.
But the fact that I wouldn't chase that waterfall on purpose. But the fact that they were there, it was kind of one of those people I just never thought I'd see. And so seeing that and hearing their songs, and I'm short, so I can't really ever see anything anyway. So I'm just listening. And at the end, there were some weird backgrounds, looked like a screensaver of some kind of like
Like
photos
the Waterfalls
of Left
video
Eye.
itself.
Yeah, and then they
Okay.
were showing like the weird liquid kind of abyss parts from Waterfalls. Remember that part? That
Yeah.
weird animation.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they were good.
They were dancing on water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no expectations really. Just wanted to hear the songs that I wanted to hear, and they played them. So that was fun. The crowd was feeling it, but I couldn't really see too much what was actually happening up there.
I can tell you that in the 90s, when TLC was first popping off, I don't think that any goth people at the time would have been like, well, this is our group.
Definitely not.
That's why I
Definitely
thought when you said the lineup,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
It was a strange. I mean, there was people. The Addicts were there, so that was cool. Got a little punk action in there, and then there was definitely a huge diversity. There was a huge drama with Nicholas Jar. He drew like a huge part of the crowd.
What happened?
I know.
Tell me
I
everything.
mean, it
Buried
wasn't
the
him.
lead.
It wasn't a personal thing. It was logistical again, and
Okay.
it was because one of the stages he was playing at got completely flooded. So all these people, the stage was just shut down.
Wow.
So nobody knew what was going on. Everyone just assumed that he wasn't playing. And then a friend of mine checked his Twitter, and he happened to play inside the observatory. They moved him.
Oh.
So a lot of people didn't even know.
Oh,
oh
that sucks.
no.
Yeah, and so
Did you get to go?
yeah.
How
I
was
went
it?
in there. It was great. I mean, another
Probably
thing
better
too. It was actually, and he
Yeah.
played a more up tempo set. You know how I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he's kind of
Sometimes he refuses
takes
to
you on
drop
a
a beat.
string.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a puppet master. He'll mess with your head a little bit. He'll like start kind of leading up to some kind of drop or disco beat, and then just like sucks it back and gets really mellow, and everyone's confused. But it takes you eventually to a place where it's danceable, and then. But I love that whole aspect of it. I love that he kind of just takes you on a weird journey. But he kept it pretty up tempo. From the second we walked in there, everyone was dancing. It's
That's
pretty
good.
amazing.
It seems because we've given him, I wouldn't say a hard time, but we've kind of like mentioned that he can be a very intellectual person. So it's nice to hear that he was very much responding to the crowd and like giving people what they wanted.
Yeah, and especially after that day where I think he knew that people were upset that a lot of people probably just thought he wasn't going to play at all, and it had been pouring rain. The whole like I guess it was like the main drag of the festival where all the vendors and food was basically just turned into a giant river.
Ugh.
So it was kind of just a rough day
And you
for a lot
stayed?
of people. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I stayed till Justice.
I
till
would
the
have been
last
like,
act.
get me that Uber helicopter the hell out of here. I am not.
She's a trooper.
It was
She's a
pretty.
trooper.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, and it was worth it to see Justice. I haven't seen them in years, and
Oh, how were they?
they were interesting. They played us.
Interesting is always
They played some hard
All
style.
right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they played some like hard style that kind of was cool, and some throwback classic rock, and then
Oh, wow.
they're like classic Justice-y sounding songs, and some Chemical Brothers, and they played a whole array.
That
of
sounds
things.
terrible.
Yeah, it was cool though. It was fun.
That
It was the
actually,
end of the
I'm
night.
glad that you just told me that because that makes me unexcited to hear their next album. It
Did you like the single? Did you hear it?
was okay.
It was okay.
That's
Yeah.
how I felt too.
Yeah.
They're never going to reclaim the glory of Cross.
Yeah.
No.
Across. It will. I mean, the last album I thought was good, but
I thought it was interesting.
it won't.
The first
The
15
instruments.
seconds of Cross, you're just like, okay.
yeah,
Like,
it's just something new.
It was,
fucking in this.
that album was also really great timing for them in clubs
Yeah.
as well. Like
Totally.
it's around here where we are, like the whole when Cinespace was doing their Tuesday night
Yep.
stuff, like that they had just started really
Wasn't their first LA show at like iHeart Comics?
most likely.
At
That
Safari
sounds, it sounds
Sam's.
right.
Yeah.
so I'm
Safari
not sure.
Sam's.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like hearing tales of that show, and it was a religious experience for people.
Yeah. No more religion. Question for Justice, at least. Are you guys doing costumes for Halloween?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Well, okay.
Do you know
Just
who
so
you're
you-
talking to
I know.
right now?
Just so you guys know, Phyllis is not in drag tonight. So
No.
what do you? Is this like civilian wear? What do you call it? Your civvies?
I'm actually, I identify as male.
Yeah.
Normally. Yeah, my civvies. What is a civvy?
Well, it's like what.
Your civilian clothes.
That's
My
what people in the
my-
military
is that-
say when they're
okay,
out of
I'm-
uniform.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, these are my civvies. But yes, I will
Which,
be
by the way,
fully-
you can't see, but they're really cool. Like
Oh, thank
the
you.
civvies are something that we should all aspire
Appreciate
to.
Yeah,
that. Even? Wow.
Yeah, even unbeat.
Well, I work in fashion otherwise, so
Ah, okay.
Ah, that shows.
guess that
That's
makes
good.
sense.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
but yeah, I'll be in costume tonight. I'm excited for
What do you,
sure.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a Velociraptor look.
Shut up.
It's gonna
Oh, wow.
be
That's
pretty
not what I was
crazy.
expecting you to
Yeah.
say.
No
That's
one
so
expects
rad.
that. Yeah, and
No one
I-
expects a velociraptor.
No, people look at me and they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Wow, yeah, creativity, huh? Crazy."
So are you like paper macheing, or what's the process?
No, I mean it's gonna be like I'm thinking I know it's like a gown, and then it's just a big fanned out sort of thing that I've made, and then a headpiece with makeup that's gonna work basically.
That's fantastic.
It's gonna work because I tell it to.
How long does it take you to do your full beat?
It depends. I mean, it depends on
So
what
wait,
I'm doing.
I'm sorry I asked that
Yeah.
question, but so in drag, getting your face covered in makeup, like doing your makeup is called getting beat down.
Beat down.
You beat down your face. With
Beating
makeup.
your face.
Okay.
Beating your face. It comes from the idea of like a pad just beating your face with powder, so it gets right into your pores and it doesn't come out. But yeah, it depends, it depends on what kind of look I'm doing. If I'm just doing like a simple sort of like day look, like when we do like, for example, the Modrion series, like for Labor Day pool parties, that's just like a simple day look. So I can do that in like an hour. But I mean, believe it or not, I used to perform. So I used to do Hamburger Mary's in West Hollywood, like every Friday, sometimes Wednesday and Friday nights for like 2 years. So, and this was way before RuPaul's Drag Race. So I was like on the show there for the burlesque / drag show. And
which was the place for drag in LA.
The place for drag in LA and the place for bachelorette parties that wanted to see drag in LA. So, but yeah, I would get there like an hour ahead of time and like throw my face on, and we all sort of did backstage. We would just like time ourselves and see how fast we could get our face on. So I had it, down to like an hour. But if it's like a high art-ish,
If you're going as a velociraptor,
it's gonna take me a little bit more than a couple hours.
Marina, how long will it take to get your costume on this weekend?
My guess is 30 minutes, I think,
Nice.
tops.
Wait, what is it? What are you doing?
It's basically just two to three pieces. I want to be William Wallace. Braveheart.
Who is
But
that?
he's actually a person. William Wallace,
Like the
Mel
Mel
Gibson,
Gibson?
half blue, half white face.
So basically 3 pieces, maybe 2, like a yard of plaid fabric, blue face paint, and
that's
maybe
gonna
I'll
work
carve a
with your
shillelagh if I
hair.
could, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just some braids,
Tell us of the thought process behind your decision.
Yeah.
It's
this
odd
costume.
because it's been a costume. It's kind of like a backup costume, actually. Like, it's that costume that's been in the back of my head. I'm like, well, if I can't figure out something better to do, I guess I'll just be William Wallace, because it's only going to take 2 items to really be that. So that's what this year has become.
Are you going to go around saying, they can take our lives, they can never take our freedom?
And also, I love you. Always have.
Is that what he
a good
said?
one.
I've literally never seen Braveheart, guys.
That's actually funny. They quote it in basketball, and I'm actually quoting basketball, quoting Braveheart, really.
Okay.
But that's my backup
This is like a
costume, and I go with
meta.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
easy.
an easy one, and it's
Yeah.
an identifiable one.
And it's like not popular. Like you're gonna be the only one
I mean,
out
it was
there.
maybe in the 90s
Yeah.
when Braveheart
Yeah,
came
no,
out.
like you really like
It's not like
you've given it enough time.
Stranger Things themed.
Well, if you said
Yeah.
sexy nurse, I was gonna lose all respect for you. And I've
definitely
only
not.
known you for.
Oh
I'm
no,
glad
I'm
I
gonna be a
kept
sexy nurse. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna be a sexy nurse.
Wait, do you have a costume, Katie?
Not yet. Not yet. There's a chance I might be a Game of Thrones character to join a group of other Game of Thrones characters, but it's and I would get to be Melisandre, which is kind of a good one. You don't watch it. Zella's staring at me, blank face.
I saw.
She's the red woman.
the Red Witch.
She's
Queen.
a witch.
Oh.
Lord of Light cult brings Jon Snow back to life.
Oh.
Sorry, that was a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it, but
Oh, they've seen it by now.
she's a good one.
You know what? We're not responsible for your Game of Thrones spoilers, everyone.
Yeah.
Very
I should have caught up by
Seriously,
now.
God,
That's-
that's a thing.
Yeah.
I
It is a
remember
thing.
when that like was circling Facebook. I was like, I don't even want to watch this show now. Y'all
Have
are,
you
like,
not
so
seen it?
angry at each other about it. I mean,
I don't-
no, obviously I have not. But I just
Okay.
remember the spoiler and people just like "Meow" on my feed, and I was like. No, I'm just gonna watch like Mama's Family. Y'all can yell at each other about some Game of Thrones craziness.
Yeah. Well, good for you. You're not
fine.
okay. Cool.
Good. It's fine.
I don't costume.
Zell hates costumes. Little known fact: Zel McCarthy does not dress up.
You know what? I hate Halloween for one reason. It's because it's the time of year where people will say to me, who I don't know, people will say, "Oh, is that your costume?"
Oh my
Oh no.
Yeah. And I'm not wearing anything. I'm just looking like myself. Several years ago, my hair was a little shorter, and they're like, "Oh, Andy Warhol." Got that like 20 times in a night. And I'm like, nope, not in costume. Wearing the exact same thing I would wear on September 31st. I know that's not a date. So I can't think of anything good ever, and I'm not good at doing it, so I don't like it.
Is there one costume that would possibly make you do it if you had the means to do it?
I mean, I can't even think of it. I'm terribly unimaginative when it comes to costumes. I always have been. Like, there's a history of this going back to my childhood of me just being bad at costumes, and I haven't recovered. I think kids are cute in costumes. I think most of the time, no offense, guys, but I think grown-ups look silly.
But it is so fun.
It's so
true.
though.
It is fun.
Most drag queens actually don't go out on Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, actually, a lot. Unless you're getting like paid, it's a job, and you're doing.
Yeah.
Which I've actually stayed in. I stayed in last year, but I've gone out for a job.
Right.
And that's the only reason I've gone out, because Halloween is also the night that like a million drag queens are born and they die the same night. You know, like it's just these guys that are like, I'm gonna be, you know, Delta Burke from, you know, and it's just like a terrible wig. Maybe a little hint of blush. Like they didn't even bother to shave.
There's no beat here.
First time in heels. It's just, no.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad, and it makes the drag queen sad and a little bit, you know?
It's the lazy costuming of it. Back in my early career working in dance music, I would work often on Halloween nights because you could make good money. I was working at clubs doing door list or tickets or whatever, and it was always the worst night to work just in terms of how people behaved, because people put on a costume and they're like, I can be a total asshole, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I worked at Playhouse 2 years ago with Raja, and she'll love that I told this story, but we were together, and we both got paid really well to go just hang out at Playhouse, and she was like, what are you going to be? And I was like, well, I have this like amazing Joan Crawford look that I can do, and she's like, perfect, I have Marilyn Monroe, we'll be dead Marilyn and dead Joan. I was like, awesome. So I like went to her house, we like beat our faces, she helped me with my Joan Crawford lip, and like we did it like in black, and she was like super black, like dead, you know. And we go to Playhouse at our scheduled time, whatever.
Playhouse is a club in Hollywood, just FYI.
Yeah, and it was just this like Halloween brunch club, and like we're walking around, and she's just like, ugh, and I'm just like, well, you know, give it a chance, hold on, just maybe it'll mate. And I was like, I don't know, girl. And I was like, well, you know, we can skip out in an hour, so let's just do a couple laps. And she's like, okay. And then we go to the bar, and this girl comes up to me, and she's like, oh my God, you look amazing. And I was like, thank you. She's like, who are you? And I was just like, and it's fine. I mean, I obviously look like Joan Crawford. Like, if you know anything
Like Baby Jane
about Hollywood, you know, I mean, and it's like an exaggerated wig that's like the role, the Liberty role is ginormous, you know. Anyway, so I just look at her, and I was just like, oh, I'm Joan Crawford. And I was like, and that's Marilyn Monroe. And she was like, that's so cool. And then she like grabbed her friend, and she was like, she's like, look at her, she's Cindy Crawford.
Oh no.
And I told
That's amazing. That is amazing.
And I was like, really, girl? And I turned to Raj, and I just like told her the whole story, and she was like, that's it, we're out of here. And I was like, you're right.
That epitomizes my Halloween night experiences.
Yeah,
minus
it can be rough
me being
a little bit. It can be a little rough.
All right. Let's talk about some new music, you guys. Krystal, what do you got for us this week?
All right, so today Fabric London's in-house record labels Fabric Records and Houndstooth announced that they're releasing a compilation to raise money as the club prepares to appeal its closure, which we talked about on this show a couple of weeks ago.
Wait, so Fabric is releasing just a comp?
Yeah, so they actually got a lot of artists to donate either a previously unreleased track or alternate versions of old classics.
That's cool. Who's on it?
Let's see, we have Scream, Dusky and Todd Edwards, Simeon Mobile Disco, Paula Temple, and DJ Tennis. I mean, there are 111 tracks on this compilation.
What?
For what? Didn't you say it's like £12 or something?
It's $9.99.
They should charge more.
Which comes out to about $12.25 in American dollars.
Okay.
And so.
But hang on, that's what. Like, obviously, if you are an artist, you want to donate to this Fabric thing to save Fabric. But is a 111 track compilation actually any good?
I bet they had so many people that wanted to be involved that they couldn't pare it down.
Yeah.
Like, they reached out to people and they got such an overwhelming response.
Yeah, well,
That's
there was only about a 3-week time period for the artists to turn it around. So they explained that a lot of artists wanted to do it, but just simply didn't have the time to.
But they got 111 anyway.
Yep.
Well, that's a steal of a deal.
Yeah, for real.
Even if you don't care about fabric, like you should probably like spend the $10. Get that.
Yeah.
And there's a new Marshmello single.
Yes. So after previewing his track back in July, Marshmello's finally coming out with his new single called Ritual, featuring LA singer-songwriter Rabel on Tuesday, November 1st.
Just after
Halloween. I wonder what he's going to go as.
I mean, maybe Marshmello will go as himself on Halloween night.
No one would know.
No one will know.
It'd
Maybe he'll
actually
go
be-
as like a... Maybe he'll go as a cup of hot cocoa and he'll melt.
Can we talk about the phenomenon of previewing your track? Like, how new is that? Where it's like, here's 30 seconds of a track I'm going to release 3 weeks later.
He just showed a video when he was opening for Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas on their concert, whatever, Future Love concert.
That happened, everyone. Krystal's not making that up.
I'm not. I wish I was.
It's a real thing.
It seems
Okay.
too surreal.
Okay. Oh, so that was the preview.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
But still, the preview of the track is like a thing
It
now.
seems a little paltry. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you like one track in 3 weeks. And I know that's how it
give us
works
the
now. I'm
track.
old. It's fine.
Just give us the track.
Yeah. But he's going to do so
Yeah.
shortly. So
I mean, if you could actually be listening to us after Halloween. If you are, the track is out. Hudson Mohawke announced an album. Tell us about it.
Yes. So Hudson Mohawke has been tapped to compose the soundtrack for Ubisoft video game War Dogs 2, and he's releasing the soundtrack as an album of his own called Dead Sec, and it's for Warp Records, and it's out on November 11th.
Veterans Day in America, everyone.
I'm sure it was not a coincidence.
No, not at all. I loved Hudmo's last album, Lantern, so I'll listen to this even though I don't play video games. That's how committed I'll be. Yeah. Phyllis, what have you been listening to?
Well, I was listening to the last Nicholas. Oh, sorry. I was listening to Nicholas Jar. I like a lot of mixes too. I just saw Sia at the Bowl, so I
Ooh, how
just
was
could
that?
not. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I mean, she is honestly, I believe, one of our greatest living performers
Whoa.
right now.
Really?
Absolutely.
High
Oh,
praise.
absolutely. Well, because she also has that energy of that there's like more in her. You know what I mean? Like when you see Bjork, or like
She's not giving you everything.
well, she's giving you just enough because that's the time that she's allotted.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like you can tell there's just so much more. And the
Yeah.
whole show is such an extravaganza of like dance and like Kristen Wiig's in it. And,
What? What did
I
Kristen
mean,
Wiig do?
It's like a whole modern dance piece. So Sia just hangs out in the back and just fucking sings. And then it's modern contemporary dancers that do these like dances pretty much to every single song. And then Kristen comes out and just works a look and like sort of goes a little crazy. I forgot what song it is, but just is Kristen Wiig, and it's amazing. And the guy from Little Miss Sunshine, the one that plays
Paul Dano?
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's on that track Alive, and he's like an office worker, and he's like completely like slamming his arms down, and it's totally like an Office Space sort of kind of look,
All right.
that movie reference. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been had on my...
I didn't know she was into so much like musical theater, but that makes sense, right? And I've heard that she has stage fright really severely. Isn't that why she wears that wig, or is that?
It's weird because
That
she
could be
didn't.
true. I mean-
She used to be very public. Like when she was first starting with 07, she would sing in front of them on the stage. Her face was on the cover of her albums.
She was also not sober, too.
Right.
She also went sober and, like, completely changed.
Yeah.
I have also one degree of separation with her, too. And I know that she's, like, turned herself around,
Yeah.
like, with her sobriety.
I was
Which is
at
power
Cafe
to her.
Gratitude with her at the same time once.
Nice.
Was she wearing the wig?
No, this is pre.
And that's how I knew it was her.
Pre-wig, pre-paper bag. She was just wearing. Actually, she was wearing high-waisted jeans. That's all I got.
Okay.
Mo, what have you been listening to?
Well, not so much on the electronic side, but Glass Animals and La Femme. Both of
Nice.
their new albums are really good. I just saw La Femme last night at the Regent Theater in downtown. That was good. They're kind of like synthy French.
Did you see Glass
Surfer.
Animals at Greek?
No, I missed that. They're
good.
they're amazing. I saw them at the Wiltern though, I think earlier this year. But
They're good. I've seen them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really good. But like electronic wise, bass music, I've been listening to Thriftworks. He came out with a new album. That was a little bit more hip hop heavy, but really good, really weird, drippy, bloopy, droppy sounds and
That sounds great.
heavy. Yeah, lots
Loopy,
of
drippy, droppy.
yeah, exactly, lots of bass. And then Russ Liquid, he does he's a virtuoso. He plays flute, trumpet, sax, probably a bunch of other stuff too, keys I think. But he's like really heavy. He does the same kind of like weird, drippy bass music, but when he performs live, he'll play trumpet or flute over it. But he just came out with a new album under kind of a new moniker, the Russ Liquid Test, which is kind of like an ode to New Orleans jazz. So it's like a mix between bass music. It's like electro New Orleans jazz.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it good?
really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only heard a couple tracks off of it. The full thing's not out yet. But it's kind of like an homage to like the parade second line music, that's really
Interesting.
popular in New Orleans. So he kind of combines that electronic like beat and then puts over it a bunch of weird kind of jazz. And it's like an ensemble, whereas Russ Liquid was just solo with his fluting and his trumpeteering. Yeah, his flouting.
The first fluting reference on the show so far. Thank you for
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, so this time he's had gotten an ensemble together. There's I think 3 of them, a drummer, and then they all mix up and
So is he touring with the ensemble?
I
He's
don't-
twirling and twirling.
Better be twirling.
Amen.
yeah, he's
Can't
definitely
wait to see
twirling.
it.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because the first time they tested the Russ Liquid test that I saw was at Infrasound in Wisconsin. He was backstage and I heard him talking and I was like, oh, is this, I saw them like setting up and I was like, is this like a new thing? He's like, yeah, well, we're going to see how it works out. It's like the Russ Liquid test. So we're testing it out right now. And I was like, oh, cool. So that was the first I'd heard of it. And it was actually a different group of people than what's going on now.
Huh.
So I think he kind of might be mixing it up a little bit as far as guest musicians having kind of different ears and different minds all mixing together and making some weird sounds.
Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Any other recs from anyone?
You guys, it's been getting a lot of shit, or it's been kind of divisive, but I like the new Gaga album.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the country thing.
Yeah, but it's
I
like
saw the SNL. I was
the SNL I was not a fan of. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Was not. Actually, in talking about Sia, who like holds back a little bit, she just gives you just enough. Gaga gives you everything, and sometimes
right.
it's like I don't want this.
Now I'm on the piano.
Like, girl.
And now I'm laying on the
Yeah.
piano. But I will say that there are a few tracks from the new album, and I'm historically not really a big fan of her, but they're good. Like they're singable, danceable. They're just.
Do you want to sing one of them for us?
I
now?
don't, because I don't remember the words, because I haven't listened to it that many times. But I will say that
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it so far.
So the album did perform well in the first week.
Oh yeah,
the
tell
top.
us the stats.
Well, we don't have full sales figures yet, but when you're rivaling Michael Bublé for first week sales, that's a good sign. People buy Bublé albums.
People love Bublé.
People love a Bublé. But this first single, Perfect Illusion, has not been getting played at radio. There's no second single yet, officially. So...
Isn't she on that bar tour? She's doing a dive bar tour.
Yeah, but like...
Sponsored by like Bud Light or something.
give me a break.
Ooh.
Wait, Gaga?
Gaga, yep.
Yeah,
what?
she did a, quote, dive bar promotion tour sponsored by Bud Light.
Because it's a country album.
Yeah, because
hence
she's so rootsy.
AKA dive bar-ish.
Girl from Manhattan who went to private school. She
but-
loves the dive bar.
But I think it's easy to make fun of it, and I agree with you to a certain extent. But artists are allowed to like try on new looks.
Totally.
Like
absolutely.
Stevie Nicks of Gold Dust Woman is not Stevie Nicks of Edge of 17.
Yeah.
And we love them both.
We do, but I think their songs there were stronger. I mean, I haven't given this as much of a listen as I think you have. I haven't connected with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like Edge of 17 on this album.
There's
to
also
be
no,
sure.
let's have some fun, this beat is sick, I want to take a ride on a disco stick. There's none of that.
Which I heard an interview of her with that album, with like Poker Face and Monster, and it freely admits that she wrote them each in 10 minutes, like every single track. Whereas this album
seems
is
like
way
she-
more musical.
Labored
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it must.
So-
I imagine it's really easy to get freaked out when you're that famous, and it's like you could work with anybody. It's expected to be really good, and to be a hit, and to make money, and it's like, fuck. you think about it for too long, and then you're like on top of a piano on SNL wondering what you're doing.
I don't think she's wondering. I think that might be the problem. She is on top of that piano.
Well, I give her props for going for it.
I props to anyone who goes for it.
Yeah.
However, Grace Jones will not hand her the crown.
No, I mean,
No one's
Not
handing her
on
the
the
crown.
ground.
That's for damn. No,
Yeah.
that crown is not in her
not up for
possession.
grabs.
No.
did
Yeah.
Gaga ask Grace Jones for the
They
crown?
they had like a thing where like Grace Jones was like not impressed. I forget, I'm not quoting it correctly, but they like
I
hung
heard that
out and
too.
Grace
She
Jones
came
was
down-
like,
And
not-
Madonna's not like you. It says something that a lot of like the previous generations divas are like about Lady Gaga.
She's really hit or miss. Like Born
Yeah.
This Way, I think is an amazing song. But would I go see Gaga in concert? Probably not.
I loved Born This Way the first time when it was called Express Yourself. Zing.
All right, Madonna did say that. But okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that note,
on that reductive note.
on that reductive note, we've reached the point of the show where Katie and I talk about what killed the vibe. We're going to quiz each other on a variety of things and find out whether or not they did or did not kill the vibe. Katie, would you like to go first?
No, I want to go second.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Roadblock ads on the internet.
I don't know what that is.
It's like when you go to a web page and you're about to read an article and then all of a sudden an
Oh, it
advertisement.
always kills the vibe. 100% of the time.
Exactly. Razor blades and apples. Happy Halloween.
It kills the vibe and your children, so watch out.
Donald
this
Trump
holiday.
masks.
Ooh. Kept the vibe alive in a certain way.
What?
In a particular way.
In what
It's a particular
way?
vibe. Not all vibes are good.
Okay. Oh, okay. Game of Thrones spoilers.
Oh, kill the vibe.
Khaleesi costumes.
Ugh, kill the vibe.
Pantsuit costumes.
Kept the vibe alive.
Okay. Midwest radio.
Oh, kept the vibe alive.
Club kids in Drano.
Kill the vibe.
Polysexual dance parties.
Kept the vibe alive.
Hearing protection.
Kept the vibe alive.
Exactly. And when you're going out this weekend, or really any weekend, make sure you cover your ears. Put a little piece of tissue in there if you have to, if you don't have earplugs.
That's smart.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Fringe.
Oh, it does not kill the vibe.
Okay. Costumes.
Kills the vibe.
Okay. A bad fake accent.
I love them because they're so trashy, so it does not kill the vibe.
I like that. Okay. Fun size candy.
Oh, does not kill the vibe.
Oh, tinnitus.
Tonight, like the ringing in your ear tinnitus
Correct.
kills the vibe.
Correct. Okay. Staying in on Halloween.
Is what I will be doing. Does not kill the vibe. That will be the vibe. Check me.
Lady Gaga reinventions.
Oh, kills the vibe.
Going for it.
Going for it in a thirsty way kills the vibe.
All right. It's a fine line.
Sorry, yeah.
Thailand tourism.
Oh, does not kill the vibe, I guess, unless you're there during either a funerary service or a military coup.
Right.
Check your travel advisories.
That's all I got for you.
Cool. All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. Don't Kill the Vibe is recorded live in Hollywood at the Crate TV studios by our A-team, executive producer Alex Munoz, audio engineers Andrew Conde and Anthony Russo. Allison Snyder is our creative director. Our theme music for today is Ocelot by Haezer and Aglory.
And thank you to our guests, Morena Duwe and Phyllis Navidad. Phyllis, not
Both.
Felice.
Both.
I want to say Felice
Pedro
so
is
bad.
Peter. Phyllis is Felice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's kind. All right. So check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at DK. I said at like a Midwesterner.
You can't get it out of you. Yeah.
At DKTV Podcast. And listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and or YouTube. Keep in touch at don'tkillthevibe.com.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
Don't kill the vibe.